Imagine you're walking through a chicken coop, any chicken coop. Suddenly, something catches your eye. It's not a turkey, nor a goose. It's a rooster. Yes, a rooster, but one that looks you almost dead in the eye. We're talking about a creature that can be as tall as a small child. That first impression, that awe, is precisely what defines the Malay chicken. From the first second of our video, we want you to feel the visual impact of this bird. Observe its incredibly long legs, its stretched neck, and that very upright posture. It's like the supermodel of the poultry world, but with an attitude that commands respect. Without a doubt, it's one of the tallest and most striking chicken breeds out there. Get ready, because you're about to meet a true giant. Now that we've captured your attention with its imposing presence, you might wonder, where does such a peculiar bird come from? The Malay story is as fascinating as the bird itself, transporting us to the depths of Southeast Asia. Think of lush places like India, Malaysia, and Indonesia. It was there, in those ancient lands, where this breed began to take shape thousands of years ago. Originally, the birds from which today's Malay descends were valued for their size, their resilience, and traditionally, for their fighting spirit. Over time, early explorers and traders, amazed by their vigor, took them on long sea voyages. This is how they arrived in Europe, especially Great Britain, around the 1830s. On the old continent, breeders passionate about exhibition birds took these robust Asian birds and, through careful selection and crossbreeding, transformed them into the Malay we know today, tall, elegant, and with that characteristic gaze. Therefore, although its roots are firmly planted in Asia, its refinement and the Malay surname are owed in part to European ingenuity. Continuing with the majesty of this bird, we reach the point where most people gasp. The Malay's size. When we say it's the oldest and tallest chicken breed in the world, we don't just say it for the sake of saying it. Imagine a chicken that, standing, can easily reach 90 centimeters, nearly 3 feet, in height. Yes, that's almost a meter. To give you a clearer idea, it's like having a 3 or 4-year-old child walking around your yard but with feathers and a peculiar gait. Its legs are so incredibly long that if we compare them to those of any common laying hen, the difference is abysmal. This stature not only gives it an imposing presence, but also directly influences its way of moving and its general behavior. It is, without a doubt, the characteristic that makes them unmistakable and turns them into the absolute center of attention in any chicken coop or exhibition. While you're recovering from the awe of its height, we invite you to look closer at a Malay's head. You'll notice something very particular, an expression that many describe as stern, severe, or even cruel. But what causes this peculiar appearance? It all lies in its unique facial structure. The Malay has very prominent eyebrows that notably protrude above its eyes, giving them a deep-set and surprisingly penetrating gaze. Additionally, their eyes are often a pearl, yellowish, or orange color, and together with their small wattles and almost imperceptible earlobes, they accentuate that warrior or bird of prey image. It's important to clarify that this appearance doesn't mean they are inherently bad or cruel. It's simply a characteristic of their physiology. However, that gaze combined with their majestic posture makes them one of the most intimidating and, at the same time, visually fascinating breeds. Beyond its imposing height and penetrating gaze, the Malay is a work of nature with a very particular physical design. Every feature contributes to its dominant personality. First, its muscular and slender body. They are not voluminous birds like other meat breeds, but compact, tough, and with well-defined musculature, which gives them surprising agility for their size. Then, we have their neck and legs, which are extraordinarily long. They are the key to its stature. The neck is strong and very elongated, while its legs are powerful, straight, and covered with large scales, providing a solid base for its imposing posture. This structure allows for an almost vertical, upright posture. Its head, neck, and legs form an almost straight line, giving it a sentinel appearance. Furthermore, unlike the large, simple combs of other chickens, the Malay sports a small, compact, and rough comb, often resembling a walnut or a strawberry, of an intense red sitting firmly on its head. Finally, its beak is strong, curved, short, wide, and very robust, with a slight curve that also contributes to its raptor-like appearance. Each of these characteristics combines perfectly to create a bird that is not only large, but also possesses an unmistakable and truly dominant presence. When we think of chickens, the image that usually comes to mind is of birds with abundant, fluffy feathers. However, the Malay is a notable exception to this rule. Its plumage is one of its most distinctive and curiously functional characteristics. Their feathers are short, hard, and incredibly tight to the body. You won't see loose feathers or a fluffy appearance. On the contrary, their plumage is tight, which not only gives them a clean and defined look, but also makes them more resistant in both hot and winter climates. The texture of their feathers is firm to the touch, almost like a natural armor. This toughness historically made them more resistant to impacts and fights. As for color varieties, although the plumage is not their main visual appeal in terms of exuberance, there are recognized shades that enhance their athletic beauty. The most common include black-breasted red, where the rooster has a dark body with bright red feathers on the neck and back, spangled with speckled patterns, pile, generally a white-bodied rooster with red markings, wheaten, lighter yellowish tones, and solid black and white varieties. Ultimately, the Malay's plumage, though not the most voluminous, perfectly complements its athletic structure and imposing posture, contributing to its unique aesthetic. Here we come to an absolutely crucial point. If you've ever considered owning a Malay, pay close attention. These are not the friendly chickens that docilely peck in the yard and let themselves be petted. The Malay is by nature a breed with a very strong and markedly combative temperament. Aggression between roosters is one of their most notorious characteristics. A Malay rooster simply will not tolerate another Malay rooster in its territory. Furthermore, they can be aggressive towards roosters of other breeds, especially if they feel their dominance is being challenged. This dominance can even extend to people. Although they can be tamed to some extent if handled from a young age, their hierarchical instinct is incredibly powerful. A Malay rooster might try to assert its superiority with people, which, believe me, can result in pecks and kicks with its strong spurs. Because of all this, the Malay is not a recommended breed for beginners in poultry keeping or for those looking for a docile backyard chicken. They require very careful handling and a deep understanding of their behavior. For centuries, this breed was specifically selected and bred for its immense strength, unwavering stamina, and untamed spirit in combat. Malays are literally designed for fighting. Their muscular body, incredibly strong legs, tight plumage that made it difficult for opponents to grip, and of course their aggressive temperament, made them formidable contenders in the arena. This aggressive reputation was what made them so valuable and propelled them to be exported worldwide. Currently, breeding Malays for exhibition focuses on preserving their magnificent physical qualities and noble historical lineage, not on promoting fighting practices. Nevertheless, understanding their past is essential to fully grasp the essence and inherent strength of this breed. Connecting with their well-known aggressive temperament, we better understand their social behavior and the vital need for space. Malays simply do not tolerate confinement well. They are birds that demand a large area to move freely, explore, and forage. If they are kept in small or limited enclosures, stress skyrockets, invariably leading to constant fights, feather pecking among themselves, and generally an unsustainable environment. As for grouping, the ideal is to keep them in small groups, such as pairs or trios. And here's the golden rule. Under no circumstances should two Malay roosters be kept together if you want to avoid a real disaster. Even a single Malay rooster can be extremely dominant with other breeds. On the other hand, it's interesting to note that their size and fearless nature make them excellent protectors of their flock against predators. They are large, strong, and not afraid to face most common threats. Now, if your primary goal in raising chickens is to ensure a constant supply of fresh eggs for breakfast every day, we must be very clear. The Malay is not the right breed for you. Malay hens are, to put it mildly, terrible layers. Generally, their production is very low, often laying fewer than 50 eggs a year, and some specimens even less. Their laying cycle is quite short, concentrated in just a few months of the year. As for egg characteristics, they are usually medium to large in size with a shell that can range from a pale cream to a distinctive reddish brown. Clearly, the Malay's value does not lie in its ability to fill your egg basket, but rather in its other qualities, such as its impressive genetic lineage, undeniable aesthetics, or its suitability as a meat bird. Even though Malay hens aren't known for the quantity of eggs they lay, there's one area where they truly shine. When they decide to go broody, they often display a strong and deep maternal instinct. This means they will sit diligently on their eggs with the firm intention of hatching them, and once hatched, they'll be incredibly protective of their brood. Watching a broody Malay hen fiercely caring for and guiding her chicks is a sight that demonstrates her commitment as a mother. However, her very distinctive feature, her extremely long legs, can become a slight inconvenience during incubation. Sometimes, due to the difficulty of perfectly accommodating themselves over the eggs with their long limbs, they can accidentally break them. If you decide to let a Malay hen incubate, it's advisable to monitor the situation closely or even consider using an incubator if you're aiming for a high success rate. So while the maternal instinct is very present and admirable, the Malay's anatomy presents a small challenge in this role. Today, the Malay has found other purposes and is valued for very different reasons. One of its main current roles is as an exhibition bird. Its impressive size, majestic posture, that characteristic cruel expression, and tight plumage make them undisputed favorites at poultry shows. They are true runway models in the chicken world, attracting the attention of both judges and the public for their uniqueness and presence. Their rustic beauty and imposing presence make them ideal for beautifying and adding an exotic and distinctive touch to any landscape. Finally, Malays have also been historically important in the development and improvement of other chicken breeds. Their genes provide invaluable vigor, resistance, strength, and excellent muscular development. They have been strategically used to cross with other breeds to enhance their physical constitution and improve their general health. Given their large size and undeniably muscular body, it's a logical question whether the Malay is a good option for meat production. The answer is yes, but with certain peculiarities. Being such large birds, they naturally produce a considerable amount of meat. They are what is known in poultry farming as large carcass birds, which translates into a high meat yield per animal. However, the texture and flavor of Malay meat are distinct. It tends to be firm and has a denser flavor than that of commercial meat breeds. This is directly due to their athletic and muscular nature, a result of an active life. Some might describe it as tough, while others precisely appreciate that robust texture and more intense flavor, which is ideal for stews, braises, or any preparation requiring slow cooking to tenderize it and enhance its flavor. An additional point is that, generally, Malay meat is quite lean, with little fat, which can be a benefit for those seeking healthier options. So while it may not be the most common choice for large-scale commercial production, for breeders interested in chicken meat with character and an abundant yield, the Malay can be an excellent and distinctive choice. Raising Malay chickens is absolutely not like raising any other backyard chicken. It requires serious commitment and very careful planning. First and foremost, space, and more space. We insist on this because it's vital. If you cannot offer them an extensive outdoor area with room to move freely, the Malay is simply not the breed for you. Lack of space is, in fact, the main cause of stress and increased aggression in these birds. Additionally, due to their height, feeders and waterers must be elevated to an appropriate height so they can eat and drink comfortably without excessively bending down. This also has the added benefit of helping keep water and food clean and free of contaminants. From a young age, Malay chicks can be very energetic, and as they grow, they will begin to show the first signs of their temperament. It is highly recommended to accustom them to handling from an early age so that they become familiar and more manageable as adults. And of course, always separate chicks from adult roosters to avoid any aggression. It's also important to consider foot care. Although their legs are incredibly strong, their long legs can be susceptible to injury if the terrain is very rocky or uneven, so dirt or grassy ground is ideal. As large, active birds, they need proper nutrition, rich in protein and nutrients, to maintain their muscle development and energy. After thoroughly exploring everything that surrounds the imposing Malay chicken, we arrive at the crucial question: is this the right breed for you and your environment? If you are an experienced breeder looking for a bird with a deep historical lineage, a majestic presence for exhibition purposes, and who also has the capacity and space to manage its strong temperament and specific needs, then the Malay could be an incredibly rewarding addition to your farm. You will deeply appreciate its vigor, its resilience, and the uniqueness it brings. However, if you are a beginner in poultry farming, or if your main goal is to have docile backyard chickens, or a constant supply of eggs, then the Malay is probably not the best option. Its marked aggression and low egg production can be a source of frustration and unexpected challenges. The Malay is undoubtedly a breed that demands respect, knowledge, and real commitment. It is not simply a chicken. It is a living piece of poultry history, a natural athlete, and an imposing symbol of strength. Carefully evaluate your goals and available space. If you are ready for the challenge and the immense reward of owning and raising one of the most impressive and unique birds on the planet, the Malay awaits you. To your success, fellow breeder. Until next time.